This is my indoor voice on Charlie's Quarantine Corner. We are staying in and staying safe and hope that you are doing the same. On today's show, we talk to my favorite ActonTV member, host of Africa to You and Wide Field, Vivian Birchall. And before you send sarcastic comments saying you thought you were my favorite, you're not. It's Vivian. Her outfits slay, and she's as sweet as syrup. And then we check in on some of the brighter side of the news. And finally, I sat down with my favorite book and my favorite people. Lots of my favorites on today's episode. So sit back and relax in the same spot on the same couch that you've been sitting in for over a month. And hopefully we can brighten your day. Stay with us. Hello, my name is Charlie Smith, and this is your CQC News Break. A feel-good story from Pennsylvania. Braskem America, a company in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, makes a material known as polypropylene, which is the raw material used to produce the fiber in N95 masks, hospital gowns, and sanitary wipes. A month ago, more than 40 workers there decided to voluntarily stay around the clock, eating, sleeping, and living at the facility in order to ramp up production as much as possible. They divided into two groups that each worked 12-hour shifts. Despite being away from their families, operations shift supervisor Joe Boyce was quoted as saying, "There's been a glow in everyone's eyes." The workers stayed there for 4 weeks, finally going home on Monday, April 20th. Thank you to all those folks in Pennsylvania. And here at home, school is out, or at least from home, as Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker announced this week that schools in Massachusetts will remain closed for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year, becoming the 35th state to make such an announcement regarding schools. The state's Department of Elementary and Secondary Education will launch a remote learning initiative to provide tools for teachers and students for at-home learning. Many school districts have already launched remote programs for their specific school systems. I myself have started using Google Classroom with my kids and have come to the realization that I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. In fact, I'm not as smart as my kindergartner. And for social media users, we have a Facebook update, literally. In a recent update to their app, Facebook has included a feature called Off Facebook Activity, where Facebook is apparently given access to other apps on your device. This update default allows Facebook to track activity separate from what you may be looking at on Facebook. This can include banking apps, shopping apps, and your email. To turn this off, go to your setting and privacy, then go to your Facebook information and scroll down to Off Facebook Activity. When you open that, click Clear History, which will clear any activity that has been tracked since the update. Then, from there, you can manage your future activity. And in squirrel news, in the age of social distancing, there's no better way to bond with a neighbor than over a pint. And this pint-sized friend was able to find a place where everybody knew his name.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure could help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you see.
And that'll do it for this edition of CQC News Break. I'm Charlie Smith, and we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, there's no one in this room right now. I'm alone. Oh, okay. Looks good by myself. Okay, no one here. Hi, I'm Charlie Smith, and like a lot of folks staying home these days, I am now a teacher in addition to being a parent. It's a lot of work to be with your kids 24/7, so here's a few tips on how I am handling pandemic parenting. I like to make breakfast the night before and put them in brown paper bags. Then my kids can help themselves in the morning instead of waking me up so early that I can't even think straight. So I get to kind of make my coffee and start my day while they're enjoying their juice boxes and bagels. Cosmic Yoga for Kids. I highly recommend this YouTube channel. It's amazing. There are these adorable videos that combine yoga with story time, and the kids love it. It buys me some mellow chill time, and it gets them to calm down in the middle of the day. Create a space for your kid to learn. I feel like this is probably a no-brainer, but it's kind of fun to do. I myself made a big calendar. I put her class picture on there. Don't put too much pressure on your kids. If they're not in the mood to read, if they don't feel like doing math, give them a break. they can do it another day. Also, check in with yourself. When you find yourself getting frustrated over a math problem or arguing with your kid, it might be time to take a break. Give it some space, come back to it later. Do something fun. Check out Acton Library for different things that you can see online. Virtual tours of different museums. But right now, the important thing, what is the important thing? The important thing is to take it one day at a time. Don't put pressure on yourself or your kids. While talking to Vivian, I got some tips on how her household has been handling this pandemic.
I've been having a lot of trouble getting my kids to leave me alone so that I can work, and also like being their teacher, and like their only social interaction is just like so much. Like they are way more daunting now, that especially like I gave them to kindergarten and now they are back. So it's just like, oh man.
And the expectation is mommy's home, mommy needs to pay attention to us, or kids are entitled in a way.
Exactly. My kids and I yesterday we did a book. I was trying to like read them a book for my show, and it was unbelievably difficult to get them to just like sit and cooperate for like 2 seconds. It was really hard. Do you have any homeschool hacks? Like different like tricks or tips for dealing with kids while you're trying to work at the same time?
Yes. If you are like me, an immigrant, go back to your roots. Kids are attracted to things that they are not familiar with. So they'll be like, what language is that? That is super cool. And they will pay more attention to things that are not the norm.
That's really cool.
And I've also discovered that sometimes we need to move away from the traditional learning to engage in extracurricular activities like dance.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them a dance move. It could be just 2 steps. Maybe that dance could involve counting. So that way you're teaching them to count, but in a fun way. And giving the kids their own free time challenges, asking them to come up with something creative.
Oh, very cool.
Because I've done that and it works for me.
So like they kind of come up with their own curriculum, like they decide what they want to learn?
Not a curriculum. For example, the times I'm really, if I don't have an idea of what to teach them, I'll ask them to go write a story and come tell me their story.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, my little one will say, but mommy, I can't write or I cannot read. Then I'll say, can you use pictures? Draw pictures and come tell me what they say. So
awesome.
That way I also get them off my back in a good way so I could work.
I
have to have, outputs at the end of the day for my regular work.
Yep.
So especially when it's not a weekend. When it's during the weekend, then I spend some time with them outside, a lot of time. So
I've been wanting to figure out ways that I can get outside without compromising the social distancing, because when it's nice out, everybody goes outside. So I think I'm gonna get raincoats and rain boots and like umbrellas and make rainy days the days that we go outside, because it's just, we live in an apartment complex too, so like all of the kids are just like out sneezing and licking each other, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, surprisingly, our apartment complex doesn't have many kids, and even those that are there are really managing the social distancing. They're implementing the guidelines, and it's very humbling to witness a community just embrace the guidelines and try to live by them. So I'm very encouraged.
If you have any tips of your own, I could really use them, and you can send them to thisismyindoorvoice@gmail.com.
Once upon a time, there was a bunny. Marlon Bundo. Ow!
Sorry. Okay, guys. Can we read Marlon Bundo together? Come on. Come sit down. Oh, there's a sticker on me. Can you grab it?
Oh my god.
I hate it. Throw it away from me. You know better. Sit down right now. We're going to read one of our favorite books. Are you ready? Last Week Tonight with John Oliver presents A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundo. So you know John Oliver? He's like my hero. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. Written by Marlon Bundo with Jill Twist, and it's illustrated by E.G. Keller.
A
Hello, my name is Marlon Bundo, and I am a bunny. I live with Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa in an old stuffy house on the grounds of the U.S. Naval Observatory. That's because my grandpa is vice president. His name is Mike Pence. But this story isn't going to be about him because, well, he isn't very fun. But this story is about me because I am very, very fun. This story is of my very special day. My very special day started out like every other day. I woke up alone. Then I ate a fine bunny breakfast all alone while I watched the news all alone. You see, sometimes old stuffy houses are also lonely. After breakfast, I hopped to the garden to look at the flowers and say hello down there to the bugs. Hello, Phil. Hello, Dennis. That is when I saw him. He was a big, fluffy bunny with the floppiest floppy ears and the bushiest bushy tail. He was bunny beautiful. I was standing still, but being near him made me feel like my heart was still hopping. My name is Marlon, I said, but my family calls me Botus. It's short for Bunny of the United States. It's a long story. My name is Wesley, and my family calls me Wesley, said Wesley. Wesley and I hopped together all around the garden. We hopped over daisies. We hopped over tiny carrots that weren't ready to grow up and be lunches yet. We hopped over Phil and Dennis. Once we hopped through every part of the garden, we didn't want to stop hopping, so we hopped right inside the old stuffy house. We hopped up and down the creaky stairs and made beautiful creaky stair music together. We hopped through the kitchen and maybe left a few bunny footprints.
You ain't bad.
What? Oh my gosh.
I hid in the cake.
That's a beautiful cake. Oh my gosh.
We hopped through very boring meetings with very boring people. It was a very good hop. It was the best hop. And I realized something. When I hopped with Wesley, my old stuffy house didn't feel lonely anymore. At the end of our hop, I said, Wesley, I don't want to hop without you ever again. And Wesley said, that's funny because I never want to hop without you, Marlon Bundo, ever again. And we both said we will get married and hop together forever. Hop, hop, hop.
Hop, hop.
They're hopping little bunnies. Hello, everyone, we said to all the animals in the garden. Hello, Phil and Dennis, the bugs, and Pumpernickel, who is a badger, and Scooter, who is a turtle, and Dill Prickle, who's a hedgehog, and Mr. Paws, who's a very good dog. Hello, all of you. We are getting married so we can hop together forever.
That's a hedgehog. That's Dill Prickle. Stop hitting Dill Prickle.
I think Scooter.
Hooray, said Phil and Dennis, the bugs, and Pumpernickel, who is a badger, and Scooter, who is a turtle, and Dill Pricker, who's a hedgehog, and Mr. Paws, who's a very good dog. Hooray, said all of our friends, because that's what friends say.
Wait!
Said a scary voice. You can't get married? We looked around and saw that the scary voice was coming from the stink bug.
Bum, bum, bum.
Let me tell you a little bit about the stink bug. The stink bug was in charge. He was important. None of the other animals could quite work out why he was in charge or how he was important, but he was. And that meant that he made the rules. That meant that all the animals listened to him, even though, and this was true, he was very, very stinky.
What's this brown thing?
Like, or it's a stinky aura. He's just got a smelly aura.
Is it in his mouth?
Maybe his breath is bad. Yeah, I'm not, maybe halitosis could be part of the issue. I'm not really sure.
Boy bunnies don't marry boy bunnies, said the stink bug. Boy bunnies have to marry girl bunnies. But this is the bunny that I love, said Wesley. And this is the bunny that I love, said me, Marlon Bundo. Just being next to Wesley made me a little braver. Too bad, said the stink bug. I am the stinkiest and I am important and I am the stinkiest and I am in charge. Boy bunnies marry girl bunnies and girl bunnies marry boy bunnies. This is the way it has always been. You are different and different is bad.
Different is good.
Different is good. That's very philosophical of you.
The other animals whispered nervously amongst themselves. Pumpernickel, who was a badger, came forward. I am different too, he said. I eat sandwiches crust first. I'm different too, said Dill Prickle, who was a hedgehog. I read the ends of books before I read the beginnings, just to make sure they're not too sad for me. I'm different too, said Mr. Paws, who's a very good dog. Sometimes I sniff butts, and I don't know why.
Sniffing butts.
He's sniffing butts.
What a ride. Everyone is different, and different is not bad.
Said Scooter, who is a turtle.
Different is special.
Wait, said Mr. Paws, who's a very good dog, and also a very smart dog. Wait a minute, we get to decide who's in charge. We get to decide who is important. We can vote. And on this very special day, all the animals voted on who they wanted to have in charge. They chose, who do you think it's going to be? Who? The stink bug or not the stink bug?
Not.
Not the stink bug? That's what you think?
Not.
Not the stink bug.
Not a big bug.
Hooray, said me, Marlon Bundo. Hooray, said Wesley. Hooray, said all of our friends, because that is what friends say.
No!
Boomed the stink bug. Boy bunnies can't marry boy. You are not in charge. So Wesley and I got married. We had 2 handsome grooms otters named Muffins and Cubby, and a flower mouse named Hiccup. And we ate and drank and danced the hokey pokey. Dill Prickle was especially good. And the ceremony was performed by a cat named Pajama, who brought her wife as a date. We ate and drank and danced, and we went home together. We have to get some sleep, Marlon. Tomorrow, we leave on our bunny moon, because it doesn't matter if you love a girl bunny or a boy bunny, or if you eat your sandwich backward or forward. Stink bugs are temporary. Love is forever.
Happy birthday. Hi, everyone. Bye.
Hi, I'm Charlie Smith. I may not be a professional healthcare provider or any kind of a professional. Hell, I didn't graduate high school, but if there's one thing I do know, it's anxiety. I've struggled with anxiety since I was about 4 years old, and since that time, I've found a few tricks on how to cope with anxiety, depression, and the constant and crushing existential fear of your own mortality. So, if being anxious is new to you, take a deep breath. Seriously, with me right now. Deep breath. And here are some tips from a professional crazy person. Counting. It can be rocks by your feet or tiles on the ceiling, but I once had this amazing nurse that taught me this trick on just to start counting and try as hard as you can just to focus on the numbers. It really helps me. It may feel silly when you start, but it can be a way to bring yourself to center. Ground yourself, literally. Take your feet, place them flat on the floor, and it sounds cheese-tastic, but imagine that you are a tree and your feet are the roots, making you strong and solid like a being of Mother Earth. And then just keep your eyes closed. My balance is off. Just keep your eyes closed and paint a picture in your mind of your feet and the ground becoming one. Writing. I find writing poems about my anxiety helps me to keep it away. I wrote a poem while having a panic attack the other day, and before I knew it, I was so focused on what rhymes with dark and dreary soul that I didn't really feel dark or dreary anymore. Music therapy, Netflix and chill. I go back and forth on which of these is more helpful, but TV and music, really any artistic media in general, is so helpful. I have a few shows that I watch over and over and over again, and they really help. Kimmy Schmidt, Glow, Bob's Burgers, Archer, Broad City, I could go on and on, but they all have one theme. They're funny and lighthearted. Kimmy Schmidt I connected to quite a bit, and I think others would in this time too. Music therapy is a topic I want to cover in much more detail on future episodes, but I highly recommend classical music, anything with motivational or positive themes, and jam band music. Tash Sultana, Pink Floyd, The Doors have been on my playlist a lot since we've been staying home. Put yourself first again. We're no good to anyone if we aren't good to ourselves. Whether it's a yoga class online, just painting in your room for 30 minutes before bed, something, anything. Just find something that is just for you, just because it makes you happy. For me, it's karaoke, as loudly as possible. My neighbors hate me. I hope these have been helpful. And if you have tips of your own that you'd like to share, please email thisismyindoorvoice@gmail.com.
Marley, don't touch anything. Hey, don't touch anything. It's gonna fall, dude, please. Okay. Ready? Okay, all right, I'm gonna count to 3. And if you guys aren't sitting quietly listening to this book, okay, can you sit? Are you gonna sit and listen to the book? Sit right here, sit right here, sit right here, sit right here. Sit down right now. Sit down and be quiet right now. Sit down and be quiet right now. Sit down on your bottom. Can you please sit down? I don't know why you guys aren't sitting right next to me.
I really
You do care? Oh, that's wonderful. So sit down and listen. Pretend the camera's not there or we can't do this again. Stop talking to the camera. We're editing this part out. Stop talking to the camera. Marley, I'm going to edit that part out.
Okay. Forget that part.
I can't do this anymore. Oh. Marley. Nope. 1, 2, okay. Come here. Come over here right now. I'm going to stop doing this.
No, I'm
Put your
kidding.
foot down. Put your foot down.
No.
I shouldn't have gave you treats earlier. All right, so anyway, stop. So just stop. Let me finish reading the book, okay? Please don't cry, because then we definitely have to stop.
I can
And Scooter, can you stop hitting? That's a hedgehog. That's dill prickle. You're being a real dill prickle. I don't think that's cool. Oh, you're going to knock over that. So this is your last chance. I really am having fun, but if you guys just knock over paintings, like, come on. If you throw one more pillow, we are done. Nope, we're done.
No!
Be up. Okay, we're just
No.
gonna stop. No.
No.
You want me to do this whole page again? Wait!
Bye.
Can you do that again, just not so close, because you get way too close?